So, Jesus said, it is expedient that I go. He said, if I don't go, the Paraclete will not come. The Paraclete is the Comforter, the Holy Spirit. He said, he is a spirit that proceeded from my Father. The word expedient is a combination of two things. It is urgent and necessary that I go. He would have said it is urgent alone. He would have said it is necessary alone. But he said it is both urgent and necessary that I go. If I don't go, the Holy Spirit will not come. The Holy Spirit brings the presence of God. And the presence of God brings what is called the glory of God. And this is very, very important. The presence of God brings certain visible manifestation in a man's life. It is very necessary you know. Now, when a man carries God, there are certain physical things that will happen. So when we talk about divine presence, we are not talking about things that are abstract, things you can't relate with, things that are beyond you. We're not talking about metaphysics. We're not talking about astronomy. We're talking about the reality of a God that lives among men. So the presence of God brings the glory of God. What is the glory of God? It is the invasion of God's reality into the human sphere, the reality of God into the affairs of men. This is God that Jesus was speaking to the Samaritan woman. He said, God is spirit, and they that must worship God must worship him in spirit and in truth. An encounter with the presence of God is something that is personal, and it is normally done in the secret recesses of your heart. When you encounter God, you feel it in the secret place of your heart. Is that okay? That's when you encounter God. But when you carry the glory of God, it is seen in the open. So encounter is inside. The glory is the open. Jesus said something. He said, when you want to pray, go into your closet. The Lord that sees you will give testimony about you where? In the open. So in the closet, you encounter the presence of God in the place of prayer, in the place of seclusion, in the place of consecration. But the glory of God is the effect of the presence of God, which is felt, which is seen, which is visible in the results we see in our lives. Like Obed-Edom, the Bible said, the ark of God's presence in the Old Testament represents the presence of God. Now, when it was taken to the house of a man in 3 months, his situation changed. So whenever we look at this subject of divine presence, there is this tragedy I see. People tend to find it difficult to understand it. They think it is something they can identify with. It is something that is far-fetched. It is something that is tough. It is something that is unrealizable, unreachable, impossible for a man to have and to carry. That's not true. It is meant for every child of God. Because when you carry divine presence, there are certain physical things that will begin to happen that everybody will say. Those things are called the glory of God. And that is why in Aramaic, it was called the Shekinah. Aramaic is the original Jewish language. It's called the Shekinah. The Old Testament was written in Aramaic. Shekinah, the word Shekinah means the dwelling of God. When God comes to dwell in a place, it is called Shekinah. And this was what the children of Israel, it means the dwelling or the settling of God. Then in Hebrew language, they call it kabod, which is the weight. When God comes upon you, there is a weight he places on you.